Hey guys, welcome to Our Opinions. I'm your Tuesday host, Ovik, and this week's topic is about creationism and whether it should be taught in public schools. I don't think it should be taught in public schools, simply for the fact that it's not fair. Because creationism is just one story, one belief, one idea, and I don't think it's fair to teach that particular subject alone. I think what should happen is that they should offer an elective class later in schooling, like high school or something, where you can take an elective class on religion or creationism, I guess, or myth. I don't know what they would call it, but basically you would learn other creation stories in addition to the Christian Judeo versions of the story. But yeah, I don't think it's fair, especially because I especially don't think it's fair for younger children to learn this, because it ends up becoming really conflicting for them because they don't have understanding, and so it'll end up conflicting within themselves, and they'll come home and ask questions, and they'll cause this weird conflict where you can't even explain to the child because they don't have the understanding yet. You know, I mean, I know I had that happen when my cousin's teacher had gotten pregnant, and she decided to explain the situation to her students in pretty good detail, not gross detail, but pretty good detail as far as what had happened and why she is now huge. But that caused issues, obviously, because my little cousins were in like first or second grade, or second or third. I can't remember what they were in. I think they were. It might have been second grade, but basically it caused issues because then, obviously, he was young and we hadn't told him anything about that, and because he's not going to understand anyway. And so he came home and saying all these things about, oh my god, my teacher's pregnant, and there's a baby in her tummy, and all this stuff, and we kind of were like, what? And well, actually not me, but his mom and dad were like, what are you talking about? Where did you get this information from? And he's like, oh, my teacher told me she's pregnant, and she showed us, and she's all big and fat, and this and that, and it just caused a whole bunch of issues, because then they were like, great, now. And they were able to sort of get him to sort of forget it, so to speak, and put it off and say, okay, well, whatever, but you're not old enough to learn it, basically. And he said, okay. So, but yeah, it caused a lot of issues. They had to end up, and a lot of other parents had called in and said, hey, listen, this teacher went ahead and like explained in great detail pregnancy and childbirth and all this stuff, and I don't want my children exposed to that just yet. They're kind of young and they don't need to know that. And so I think the same would apply to creationism and creation stories in general. That I wouldn't want my children to be exposed to that at such a young age without any understanding of it. Now, I don't think that it's wrong within your own household to teach your children. That's what you do on your own time. That's perfectly okay. But I don't want it to be happening in school, especially since the fact that it's a public school, and it shouldn't be happening because religion and schooling are two different things, and they need to stay separate because that's just conflicting. It goes with all the different, or it goes against a lot of things that they teach in school. So it wouldn't be fair. Yeah. So I don't think it should be taught. It should be something that is dealt with at home, or if they are going to do it in school, it should be an elective class when you're older, be able to take and learn it all, not just one, because it's ridiculous to learn just creationism, because it's pathetic. But I will say that they should still teach evolution. They should still teach that, and it is still offered. It is still a required class in your science, or whatever class they call it, science or life science class. Biology, maybe? Yeah, no. Well, kind of biology, but whatever. Science, in general, it's a required class. And what I did have happen before in other schools, and I know people that have done that, where when the parents knew that they were coming up on that, they informed ahead of time to the teacher and said, listen, I don't want my child to learn that. We are a Christian household. We don't believe in evolution. Jesus created everything. That's it, whatever. And so the child was basically withheld from the class during that period and sent to do other work. And then they would, obviously return later. And I think that's perfectly okay. That's fine. That's actually a pretty good way to deal with it. But yeah, I don't think it should be taught. Something like creationism shouldn't be taught because that's very specific, and that's not something that is it's not necessarily widely accepted. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Everybody has their own beliefs, but I feel, being able to be open and learn different things would be okay, but that's something that is creationism is something that is very Christian and is not necessarily widely accepted among everybody. And if you're going to be going out into the world, especially if you're in the sciences or any sort of a academic career or something, you don't want that to be a bias for yourself, basically a bias for yourself where it sort of is hindering your ability to be unbiased and teach a very neutral sort of subject. Especially, I even heard of stories where teachers wouldn't teach evolution. I had a math teacher who was very Christian, did the Bible study thing or whatever I can't remember what they called it in the school, but where they do that extracurricular outside of school, or not outside, but in school, but not during school. I think it was a Bible study class. I can't remember what it was. But he did that, and he was obviously super Christian, and if anybody ever brought up anything in class, he would sort of dismiss it. And I remember, I think one time, somebody was doing homework for the science class, and it happened to be that subject, and he walked over and he kind of looked and was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm doing homework for," and he goes, "Well, for one, you shouldn't be doing homework for another class. I get that." And that was okay that he got upset for that. But he also said, please, he kind of went like the whole Christian route and said, "Listen, that's not what we believe here. I don't want you to be doing that sort of thing in my classroom or when I'm around," basically. So I thought that was like, and that kind of clouded his judgment because now he's putting his beliefs ahead of the school and somebody's education, basically. And it got ridiculous, and so they eventually had to move him out and get him something else to do because it was getting ridiculous. He would do that a lot during class. Like, he would randomly just be like very Jesus loving, and it kind of got annoying. But yeah, that's my opinion on it. I went off on a tangent on that last bit right there, but I think I basically said what I wanted to say. I recorded this video like twice, maybe 3 times already, and it kind of froze up, and the camera was being weird, and then the computer froze, and so I'm like done with this. So so I covered all my main points. It just became a shorter video than what it was originally. So hope you guys enjoy. I'll leave links below to all our good information, the Facebook, the Twitter, my personal channel, all that jazz. So yeah, stay tuned for the rest of the week to enjoy the other hosts, and hope you guys have an amazing week. Blessed be.